All
Got
right.
it. I guess, should I record as well?
I forgot to do it, so I'll just send it to you because we're going live now. Got it. Okay.
Cool.
I'm not sure if we're live. Hold on one sec. Let me just double check before we get going. It's always good to make sure.
I'm recording.
Okay, cool. All right. It looks like we're live. I do believe. Yes. To make sure. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm just trying to get all the technical stuff situated here. Um, it would be great. Like you see all of these people that go live and they've got everything is so seamless and perfect. And that's because they just show up. Where Madelaine and I are doing it all ourselves. So we're like having to navigate all of the stuff
Yes.
around the technology. So okay. We are officially live. We're on YouTube. I have it all sorted. And so if anyone is tuning in, if you have any questions, I know we're kind of bouncing around time-wise. Apologies for that. But based on schedules and locations and travel, Madelaine and I are working hard to find those little pockets of time when she and I can connect based on time zones and schedules and then be available for all of you before the actual moon cycles occur. So it's helpful for you to have
Yeah.
it ahead of time, which is big. So obviously, my name is Amalia Natalio of KarmicKindness, and I have Madelaine Parker joining me, as always, the astrologess. I don't know if that's an actual word, but we're going to say it is for now, astrologess, who is going to share a little bit about what's happening for each one of the 12 zodiac signs. I have my spirit animal oracle or spirit of the animals oracle deck that I'm going to share. And before we get started, I want to just give just a kind of a quick overview of what I was seeing when I was looking at the chart for this new moon on January 11th at 6:57 a.m. Eastern. It's at 20 degrees. And I normally don't talk about the degrees. Madelaine usually does, and I'm sure she's going to be talking about this later, but this is significant from a degree perspective because of what happened in 2020. There was a conjunction between Pluto and Saturn at 22 degrees, so very, very close. So what does that mean? That means that these planets are meeting, we're at nearly the exact same point that occurred in 2020 before everything really went a little haywire with the pandemic. So coming back to this place and it being a new moon, it's almost like we're opening up a whole new chapter for ourselves, for the collective. We've got Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto was in Capricorn, has been in Capricorn since 2008. It was in Capricorn in 2020. It's leaving Capricorn for good November 2024. So to me, this strikes a huge chord of Capricorn completion, moving into a whole new paradigm after November 2024. Pluto, the planet of power, transformation, death, and rebirth. So I would venture to guess that most of us have had some sort of letting go or death of some part of ourselves, or maybe people or jobs or relationships or homes or something that we've had to let go of to allow for something new to be birthed. And we have Capricorn, which is that planet of like hard work and discipline. And it also has to do with legacy and career. So there may be some shifts there, long-term energy. So it's like, and then you have Saturn that was in on the mix, which is the ruler of Capricorn, which has to do with foundations and structure and karma and time and the father patriarchy kind of energy. So if you mix all of these things together and you break it down into what does this mean for us right now, this new moon is a time of fresh starts, new beginnings. And we have all this energy that's happened over the past few years that has really encouraged pushed, nudged, or even given us a kick in the butt when it comes to removing those structures, those pieces of our lives that are no longer needed, no longer required. And we're creating a new structure, a new long-term goals that are going to support us this year and for the next 20 years, because as Pluto moves into a whole new sign and is there for about 20 years. So this to me feels like such a huge new moon on multiple levels when you look at all of these other pieces that have happened over the past few years that have supported this moment. So anyway, I just thought that was really fascinating. So I want to share a little bit I want to share something in a little bit about, or maybe I'll just share it now and then Madelaine can hit the ground running. I feel like I'm a big proponent of ritual for the moon cycles. And I feel like and I was talking to Madelaine about this before, when we gather together with a specific intention of setting an intention for ourselves and for others during this new moon cycle, it's extremely powerful. And one thing that I am doing, and I haven't gotten the stones yet, but because Capricorn is an earth sign, I'm feeling really drawn to bringing in the element of earth. I'm a huge lover of cacao, so doing a small cacao ritual. And then you can gather stones from anywhere. I ordered some because my guy's birthday is on this new moon. It's an exact conjunction, which is, I can't wait to really dive into that and look at it a bit more deeply. But so we're having a birthday party for him. But any stones that you find anywhere, that these are ones I've gathered in my travels. If you take that stone and hold it in your hand and have your intention, your long-term goals for this year and beyond, and infuse it into the stone, and then maybe take a pen or a marker or something or a paint and put an image, and you can ask for an image that will resonate with, that will remind you of exactly what that intention is. Put it on the rock and then have the rock on your altar. If you don't have an altar, put it maybe on your nightstand, put it somewhere that you're going to see it. And it will be a reminder for you to take that disciplined action, to follow through on those long-term goals, and to know that the cosmos is supporting you, and to be open to those little nuggets of wisdom that come in order for you to plant your feet firmly on the ground and take the steps that you need. So that feels really good. I mean, there's a lot more that can go into that, but that's just a simple little thing that you can do to start this moon cycle off and this new year off on a good Capricornian footing. So, all right, I will shut up now and let Madelaine share the astrology, but super exciting times.
Yes, this is an interesting new moon. It's really interesting. It lands on 111, the portal of 111, which is really a good luck, really good energy, very aligned. It's very aligned energy. So I would say that this new moon creates we're shifting into something that's much more aligned with our true destiny because, and I'll explain, it squares the nodes, which are at 20 degrees as well. And the nodes, there's the North Node at 20 degrees. It's always in retrograde. So, and also we're going to talk about how all the planets are about to station direct. We've got Uranus stationing direct at that 20-degree point as well. Uranus is currently at 19 degrees. But it's going to station direct at the end of this month, which then goes to 20 degrees. And then we have the big Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in April, mid-April, at that 20-degree point. So you're right, there is a very significant thing about 20 degrees right now. So let's take a look at the chart here. Oh, this is for right now. So we want to go to January 11th. And it is there, everything is, it's landing. So that would be PST time would be almost 3 p.m., 2:40, 2:50, 2:52 p.m. It'll hit. They're both planets at exact 20 degrees in the sign of Capricorn. So we have a lot of
in the morning, Madelaine, at 2 or 3 something in the morning.
AM. Thank you. Good for seeing that. Yep, AM. Early in the morning for Pacific time. And so we're looking at that square. So we also have Mars here, which is interesting, because so we have this new moon squaring the nodes, and Mars is also in the sign, sextiling Saturn and trining Jupiter. Those are incredibly great energies. This is a fantastic new moon. And we did have so the sun is going to conjunct Pluto very soon after that at that 29-degree point. But I think on the 27th, Pluto goes into 0 degrees of Aquarius. The sun is going to conjoin that, which is the degree point where we had the great conjunction, 2021, December. Was it 2020? Was it 20 or 2021, December? I think it was December 20th, 2000. I'm sorry, December 21, 2020. It might have been 2021. I'm just a blank right here. But anyway, we had that major conjunction then. And so we're hitting that point again with the sun. And we're going to see some sort of tilt in our destiny because of that square on the nose, and Mars is there. So something we've been doing that's been slightly out of alignment now becomes ended, or wherever Mars is hitting in somebody's chart, you might be ending something, bringing a resolve to something, wrapping it up, ending it. Some people have it in their 7th house. People I've been reading for with Mars there, they've ended relationships or work jobs. If it's hitting in your work houses, you might be terminating a field of work. And then with the nodes squaring this new moon, it's tilting us to our more fated in alignment, 11-11-1-1-1, which is all about alignment. People align with their higher calling, which is what the big Jupiter conjunction was all about. Saturn and Jupiter coming together. Saturn is career, Jupiter is calling. The two come together into the energy of Aquarius, which is the energy of people liberating, working for themselves, living their higher chart, living their calling, their dharma, rather than the matrix security path. And these two planets conjoining at that period was with that initiation point. It was at 0 degrees, where people were really walking their independent path, living their chart, which is because Aquarius is the energy of astrology. It's the house of astrology. Aquarius, the stars, and the higher dimensional plane. 11-11 is the 11th house in astrology. And what does 11 signify? People walking, no longer there being a leader, one leader or a boss, or shall we say an authority, but instead there's only one authority, the God authority, our higher selves. So we're really in alignment with our higher authority, people marching in alignment to their higher calling, to their divine authority, to the only authority that is real, and therefore walking their true path, which is what we were designed to do, which is why astrology is so helpful, because you can see what your most abundant, what you were designed, your most abundant path. So basically this new beginning is aligning, this new moon is aligning us more into that 11 energy, where we're following our calling, our divine path. And when everybody collectively, which is the energy of Aquarius, which is the collective, which is the mass, the people, no longer being told what to do, where to go, how to work, how to earn your money. And now we follow our chart, our higher calling, our divine voice, the divine higher mind. Everyone then becomes in alignment. The more in alignment we walk on this path with our higher calling, the better the world will shift super fast. Because when we're doing what we're here to do, it's usually, and most, of course, what is best for the planet and best for the collective. So we're all walking on our individual path, doing the thing that is better for the world, better for ourselves. And we're guided by our higher mind, higher wisdom, divine calling, your chart, your astrology chart. So now we're going to see rapid shift in the world. We're entering the Aquarian era now, really officially. And so we're going to see mass liberations, financial liberation, independence, people carving new paths. It's technology. It's shall we say, the future. It's about the future, and we're really starting the new paradigm here. I mean, it's already been starting, but now I would say we're really seeing the aligned path that we're on with that 11-11 portal on this new moon, it has a kite on it. I'll get into that in a minute, where we now have, we mentally, or shall we say, we consciously align with our higher path. And there's a lot of energetic support for that. And I mean a lot. So we've really basically, the people on the whole are back into, have gotten their power back from the Saturn matrix authority, as it were. And Aquarius is ruled by Saturn as well. But the cycle of Pluto going into the sign of Aquarius every 250 odd years, 55 to 48, sorry, 250 to 58 years, is the cycle where people are reclaim power from. It's Bastille Day, it's the American Revolution, it's basically the collapse of the structure that is no longer supporting the people. And so you then have this new uprise of a new structure, like you were talking about, that is more supportive of the new world, the new earth. We're really entering the new earth. So en masse, the collective on this new moon is going to be tilted by that nodes. Mars is going to have a resolve something or end something that was no longer, which was not fully in alignment. It may have been close to alignment, may have been circulating our thing, but the nodes coming in are saying, no, not that way, this way, course correction. And then this opportunity comes in, or we create it, or an idea, or people come into our life that open the true path that is our true nodal destiny in our chart.
I love what you're saying about this, Madelaine, as far as
yeah,
the big picture of the energy when it comes to our long-term future and creating a structure for our success. You know, because what I keep hearing is we have the nodes involved, which is our, you know, what hasn't really worked in our past and what is really designed for our future. So there's a square, which means there's some tension with this moon energy, which is our internal world. It's our emotional world, and the sun, which is our life force, our self. Like, and I do believe this moon is also square the ascendant of the day of the chart itself. So it's like, there's so much energy on this day. Like I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great because the moon is the feminine, the womb, the sun is the masculine, so it's the sperm. So we're having this sort of, the moon is void on a new moon. It has nothing. It's in a complete void state. So the sun comes in that void state. It's able to penetrate seeds of new life, of impregnate the moon with a new long cycle because of the Saturn ruling it. And Saturn is sextiling Mars, and Mars is trining Jupiter, and it's creating a kite. And Mars and Saturn is sextiling Jupiter. So it's like, this can't be any better. I mean, this is just the best new moon I think we've ever done a report on. So I'm super excited, and I feel the energy. People are texting me going, I feel the energy. Is there a shift? And I'm like, wow, that's impressive. You can feel it, because for sure we're seeing a really optimistic new beginning. And it's beautiful because people are in their sovereignty now more. And you can notice this in general. Everywhere I go, I find people are much more in their sovereignty, taking the brave path, taking their individual desired path, because what you desire and your passions are usually in alignment with with what you're here for. So there's courage here. We're not, the shall we say, the collective self-esteem is up. And we just need the courage. And I think the courage is there in this full moon, in this new moon, to initiate brave. With Jupiter in the picture, we have the faith. We're feeling the, shall we say, the lack of we're not afraid as much. We feel faith and optimism about these new beginnings, and we're willing to jump in and go for it. So it's, you know, I'll show you the kite here, which is just a really rare formation. And usually when it happens on a new moon, and basically it's kind of the beginning of the year because it's the first new moon of the year. We have the sun coming out of its darkest period. So we're raising into the light more. And this is the first new moon. So you want to wait to initiate till you see the crescent before you initiate your intentions on this new moon. You don't want to do it right on the new moon because that's the void period. So you want to take it in a little bit, 2.5 days to when you see it. I always tell people to see it with your own eyes. You make that connection with the sky. And then here we have this kite formation, the MC is making that, but also there's Juno, I think, in that picture creates the kite. If I pop it in here. Is that Juno? Is it? I can't remember if that pops in on there. Well, yeah, it does at 21 degrees. So we're looking at this kite formation, which is basically very blessed, very like doors opening, easy things. It's like the universe is saying, handing us all these wonderful opportunities or ideas or things that is going to really bless us forward. And Saturn being in the sign of Pisces, it's a very spiritual energy. Neptune is its own is the ruler of Pisces. Jupiter making a sextile, which also rules Pisces. I mean, so supportive. Everything feels so supportive. The only square is the nodes to the Mars, to the south node. So we're letting something go that's in our way of our true destiny. You're going to see course correction here with this new beginning. And then the sun moves into Pluto very soon afterwards, which some people say the orb of Pluto is 10 degrees. So it could be considered that this new moon conjoins Pluto, which is the transformation. Really, humanity has, because Pluto in Capricorn is very karmic clearing. So humanity has really cleared some major intense karma, enabling now sort of a clear slate to begin this auspicious new path that will take us to the new earth, that will make the world a better place collectively by everybody stepping into their true path. So we think if there's anything else I should say. Venus is ruling Jupiter. Venus is in Sagittarius. Mercury's in Sagittarius at the point of this new moon. And nothing wrong with that. It's Jupiter is in Venus's sign and Venus is in Jupiter's sign, so they're co-supportive as well. This is amazing. The only thing that would be challenging would be if you have particular attachments to anything around that node squaring, that course correction. If you have an attachment to a situation, but really just let go with that Pluto there. In fact, with Pluto and Aquarius, we're all good. The more we're in our sovereignty, the more we're comfortable letting go and allowing the universe to really tilt us, working with the universe, not just our head and our will. That's what I try to help people with, my son in particular, to really go with the direction that seems to be opening up. And this is going to be for it's selfish in the sense that it fills our cup, but it's actually of high service for the collective to be walking, because Aquarius is the sign of humanity, working for humanity, doing things for humanity. So when we step into our true missions and stuff, we're really helping humanity here with these new beginnings. So I think yeah.
I was just going to say one thing, when you're talking about the nodes too, and this is being a rather feel good energy for a new moon, that is so true. And I also am feeling a pretty large amount of discomfort around some past forms of security. So, yes. Capricorn also relates to feeling safe, feeling secure. And the South Node is like those things that potentially helped us feel that sense of safety and security. And now we're having to, like you said, let go of that and look towards something different. So
yes, absolutely. Because
there may be some discomfort in that letting go or that unwinding of these old paths and these old ways of finding safety and security in your life.
Yes, because most of the things that you're letting go of, you did because you felt you needed them to increase your income, your finances, your security, or you thought it was a relationship that creates security in your life. So yes, anything that is, you're letting go of things that you used the wrong, not the wrong, but the, as you say, security based.
Yes.
Not having, and they weren't necessarily the way you were here, because these transits and this movement in the sky is wanting us to shift in our higher faith, higher vibrational. It's all about vibration. So it's about faith-based rather than fear-based, and anything fear-based, and it is going to fall away because the energy of Aquarius is extremely high vibration. So anything that you're losing and not working out is because it's probably somewhat fear-based
Yeah.
on your lower density energies of what you think you needed to do to increase your income, to increase your security. And it's not really necessarily because we're really entering a very open-minded, a new paradigm where where our mind is not really fully knowing of. So the universe knows better than us, as it were.
So here's an interesting question. This came up actually with someone this morning, and I'm just curious about, it just dawned on me, one of the biggest fear places for people relates to money.
Yes.
How am I going to pay my mortgage or my rent? How am I going to feed myself or my children? That's a huge place of concern for many, many people. And it feels like the past couple of years, we've been in a place, particularly if you look back at that Pluto Saturn conjunction in 2020, we've been in that place of continuously trusting our heart, trusting higher wisdom and guidance to take these little or big leaps of faith, and trusting that the openings will appear. And for some people that I know, they've had a hard time with that. Some have let go loosely. Some are letting go more and more, but they're not seeing the golden nuggets of the letting go yet. And
Yes.
so I would love to hear what your thoughts are on like the timing for that. And one other caveat that I want to bring up for folks is that if you haven't been doing the letting go, if you haven't been making those choices, like if you've been continuing to make choices based on fear, you're likely going to get more of that because it's going to push you to let go. If you've begun to let go and you're not seeing the fruits of that quite yet, I would say that's likely a timing thing. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Madelaine.
Yes, we've just had many planets in retrograde. We had Jupiter in retrograde, Mercury in retrograde, Uranus is back. So we're going to have 3 months of all the planets stationing direct, and a lot of things were blocked then. A lot of things were because we were when the planets are in retrograde, you're more going internally and realigning with the your internal world. The reason planets go in retrograde is so that you realign to the internal self, because we're really supposed to be guided by our internal self. And so things get blocked and stopped, and Saturn went into direct motion, but it hasn't hit that part. Usually when the planet hits the part that it was when it went into retrograde is when you start seeing things happening. But this new moon, we're going to see a lot happening, even though Jupiter's not quite at that same degree point yet. I think it went into retrograde around 9 degrees, 10 degrees. But we're going to see a lot happening when all the planets are direct in all of our houses, of course, but a lot of things were blocked. I was doing readings and thought things were going to happen for people a couple months ago that haven't happened yet. And a lot of those eclipses, that big Taurus eclipse that happened at 5 degrees, which is where Jupiter is right now, Jupiter's stationing direct at that point. I mean, it looked like things were going to happen for people in that eclipse, but they really didn't. So it was like we had to wait for Jupiter to come to this point. So you're going to know in this period whether what got blocked is in alignment or not, because probably some of the stuff that got blocked was not fully in alignment for you anyway. And so there's an adjustment here to Saturn is an immutable sign. It's in the sign of adjusting, making, adapting. And Mars, and Mars is in the energy of karma, which is Capricorn, which is ending things. So that you may have been struggling because they were blocked, and then you realize, no, you're not supposed to do that. It's not really the path. And Saturn wants you to be mutable on that, and with the nodes squaring it, so that you adapt and take and see the wisdom in that block. And then you suddenly you're going to get, aha, I get it now. This is what I really am supposed to be doing. This is where I am supposed to be tilting my energies and my effort, because Capricorn is the energy, and Mars in Capricorn is exalted. So it's really, really supported in a very strong position. So something that ends then becomes your actions, and you want to work hard. Mars in Capricorn, you like it. It feels fulfilling. You want to do it. And so it's going to be, you're going to know that it's more right. It's going to feel more right. It's going to flow better. You're going to go, this is how it was supposed to be doing, how we were supposed to be going here. And the blocks you're going to see were retrograde planets trying to help you see that there was a better way coming down the line. And you couldn't see it at that time. It just looked like it wasn't happening. So it's either happening now, or you're adjusting and adapting.
So what I found interesting, and I don't know if this will be helpful to anyone, but it was helpful to me. There was a certain aspect of my life that I was in conflict with. Like my head was thinking one thing, and then my heart was going in another way. But both of them felt equally important. So I would kind of waver back and forth between the two, but it was making me a little bit cuckoo. I was really having a hard time. And so this was a practice that I did, and it really helped me release some of the energy around it. I visualized this issue and created like a ball of energy around it, and I held on to it in my hands as tightly as I could, like all my muscles like contracting and really holding on to it like this. I want this thing. And then I held it, and then I just said, okay, I'm leaving it to the universe and just let it go. And I did that a few times, just feeling the energy of my body moving, feeling the energy of the release into the universe, just trusting that whatever was meant to be for me would find me. I didn't have to hold on to it. I could just let it be. And I noticed after doing that, even just the first time, the energy began to flow a lot more easily and freely. And I wasn't so mired in this internal back and forth battle or struggle around this thing. And so I'm just going to offer that as a practice for folks. If there is something that you're really clutching onto, because maybe, there's energy in our body that can also block us, that can keep us mired and stuck in an old way of thinking, an old way of being. The cosmos is pushing us, but we have free will to make choices. So we can continue to stay in that state if we choose to. So if we maybe feel that the energy of that it's taking for us to hold on to it, and we allow that to move through us and let it go and trust the universe, we might find that some of that energy flows a little more freely through us, so that the energetic support of the cosmos can also flow freely through us. So something that helped me, it might be helpful to others too.
Yeah. Letting go is always good, no matter what. That's just surrender. Letting go is always going to help whatever struggle you're in, always, because then the universe really is, we're in resistance. So when we get that kind of, we're being pulled out of resistance, forced out of resistance. And a lot of time you're resisting something. People say, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I give up. And I go, yeah, that's because you've been trying too hard. And that's sort of an energy of resistance. And the universe is saying, good, you're exhausted, you're letting go. We can now take you the way that your soul and the universe had intended for you.
Yes.
And we're just in this era, because we're really coming out of a matrix era. We're coming out of the dark era, going into the golden era. We're very matrix minded. We're very strong minded people. it's very hard for us to work totally from our intuitive center. We're evolving into that here. But we're very, very rigid minded as a species.
Yes. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So shall we dive into the zodiac signs and start with good old
Let's do
Aries?
it.
And I'll get my animal oracle deck ready.
Yes, that's so much fun. Okay, let me get to the Aries on the first here. Let's go to ours here. Let me get, oops, go to now. Let me put Aries on the, oh, gotta get the 11th. Let's do ours. Put Aries on the ascendant. Take me a minute here. There we go. Aries on the ascendant. You're going to have this full new moon in your 10th house of career. Now, something I want to mention about all of this is that part of the new earth and the new era is very spiritual. It's because we're not doing matrix, we're going spiritual. There's two ways to go on this planet. There's two charts. When I look at people, you're either a matrix person or a spiritual person, which means you're either here to work with the unseen forces and the immaterial, or you're here to work with the material realm. So as a society and as world, as we're evolving as a civilization, we're leaving matrix, going more spiritual, which is actually really not that we're abandoning matrix, we're just balancing, making it more even, right? So everybody's altering their path to a slightly less matrix, more spiritual bent, shall we say. So Aries rising. This is interesting because you've got the nodes in your house. So, and Aries are some of the most rigid thinkers minded people that you can get, because Aries is the head, the mind, very much so. And they've got the nodes in their first house, and they're going to have this new moon squaring their first house and the nodes. The cardinal signs are going to see most of the shifts. So what does that mean for Aries? Big time ego collapse. A lot of them are going to ego collapse. Something really fails. They have to quit. Didn't work out. Might be harder for Aries than anybody in this read that we're doing today. But it aligns them with a more spiritual destiny, because Aries are leaders, and they're initiator of the zodiac, and they need to be on board with the new earth. We need them here on board. We need Aries with us. They're very powerful. They're very strong initiators. So they're going to be out there, and they're going to go against entirely their ego perceptions of everything. And so they're going to say, okay, let's go for it. Let's try it. Let's go. Let's see. And it's going to be more spiritual because Saturn is the depositor of this new moon, and it's in the sign of Pisces. So it's spiritual. So there's something more motivated for the Aries, which is not ego about them, how fabulous they are, because Aries are like that. They are amazing. They're amazing. It's an amazing sign. We can't live without Aries, but they can rub people the wrong way because they're so kind of ego, but they're supposed to be. And so now Aries are sort of had a bit of an ego crash on some level, and now they're ready to step into their more sort of spiritual mission, and they have a more of an exploratory, open-minded, okay, well, let's see, a bit skeptical, but let's check it out energy. But that's going to be more in alignment because we're using the two energies now. The Aries is very matrix with the spiritual. Now we're more in balance. 11-11, aligning with their higher calling, their more spiritual path. So it's career. It's going to be a career that is definitely against their paradigm, against their ego, but it's going to be abundant. And that's probably why the Aries are going to be open to it. So let me just quickly look and see. Jupiter's in your second house. There's going to be some sort of auspicious financial, I hate to say it, but that's what really motivates the Aries. They like that money. They like the abundant. So it's sort of like all the other doors were shut, but there's an abundant door open. It's not where their ego would go. It's spiritual, which is really not them, but they're going to do it because it looks very supportive abundantly financially. Good.
Interesting. So we've got the sea otter happiness for Aries. And one of the key themes of this is let go of worry. And I feel like that's so true for Aries because they can be warriors too. Like not warriors and worriers, worrying about this and because they're initiating something new, there's some excitement around it. They're ready to do it. But at the same time, there's like, what about this? What about that? There was one other aspect of this card too that I wanted to, it says surrender to the waves. So I know some Aries who are definitely feeling a lot of energy, emotional energy, some sadness, some grief, some loss, and
Mhm.
allowing that to be there, and also recognizing when it's time to let that go. Choose love, choose yourself, choose a different path. And I feel like this will be very supportive for that
Yeah, I'm very
healing.
excited for Aries because I know a lot of Aries, and I tell you, getting Aries on board with the spiritual movement is about the best thing that can happen to the spiritual movement.
Yeah.
They're go-getters, they're warriors. It's like, yes, when they get behind all of this, then we're seeing, they make stuff happen. So
Yes, they need
we
to
need the
be.
Aries behind this movement. I'm very excited about it. I know a lot of Aries that I will be very happy to see stepping more into the spiritual path.
It's the Aries fire. You get them fired up about something and they're just going to run with it. And
Yeah.
I know a couple of them where one in particular has sort of danced into the spiritual place and really taken a deeper look at themselves. And then it got a little bit, they got into the fire, ready to start anew, like be rebirthed. And they're like, oh, I'm out. And so maybe this will be that initiation energy that they
Yeah.
need in order to really stay with it.
And to be clear a little bit on a spiritual career, let's just say I know a filmmaker who's an Aries and they always go for like detective murder stories, blah, blah, blah. But maybe they decide to take on a movie that has a very powerful spiritual message.
Yeah.
Or let's say you're an Aries in career. Let's think of something very Saturn because they have 10th house Saturn. Maybe they're in very Saturn sort of bosses, CEO, all this kind of stuff. But then there's an opportunity opens up for them, or a need where there is a higher consciousness motivation around that helps people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
there's a range. Yeah.
yeah, and it may not be that they're quitting their job. They might, but it might be that they just shift some parts of it, that
I
like you were
know an
saying.
Aries rising, very successful, and a lot of their film projects have just dropped. Like they've just blown away. Like, things didn't work. A couple of things just did not work out that they were really going forward with. Got blocked. All these planets in retrograde, Mercury in
Yeah.
retrograde, changing planets, and now they're like, huh? Like what? But then there's going to be an open door that's going to be slightly out of their box, but it looks interesting.
That's
And it's
cool.
in alignment. You're going to feel intuitively like there's something in alignment about it.
Nice.
All right.
All right, Taurus.
Taurus, Jupiter in your first house. Boy, when Jupiter's in your first house, you're initiating, you're taking new projects, very brave. You feel very good about yourself. You're confident. You believe in yourself. I love you also gain weight with Jupiter in your first house. So just, watch the appetite. Ferocious appetite occurs with Jupiter in the first house. So they're going to have this all happening in their ninth house. So again, open mind. This is the new moon in the ninth house. This is a powerful one for Taurus because Taurus can be stubborn, set in their ways, very heavy-handed about it sometimes. And they've got Capricorn over their ninth house. So they have a kind of a lot of karma around spiritualism and belief, religions. So something's going to open up for them and a new beginning where they end an old way of believing because Mars is there squaring the nose. The North Node is going to be in their 12th house. So there is definitely a spiritual awakening for Taurus where they end an old rigid perception around religion or spirituality. They open up their mind, or they start learning. They want to learn something more about spiritualism. They want to start learning astrology. They want to learn higher philosophy. They want to learn they could shift a career into something that is teaching as well. But again, they're here, they suddenly wake up to wanting to be influencing into higher consciousness to help be a part of higher consciousness raising on the planet. They suddenly open up to the spirituality in see the earth signs tend to be very they tend to think that they're the ones that make everything happen because they're such hard workers and they get stuff done and they're very focused and they are good at all of that, but they get a little egotistical about it where they think, yeah, I'm really good at that, it's me. Well, actually it's you and the universe working in tandem together, co-creating. It's not all you, Taurans. A lot of it is because you guys are steady hard workers, but you wake up to the 50% of the universe that's really been a big part of your abundance, and you sort of open up to that now, and you work more with it. You're willing to work more with the higher realm, spirit, law of attraction, just like what you were saying. You're Taurus, aren't you? Don't you have Taurus moon? So you're
Taurus
going to
moon, yeah.
open up to doing more rituals, more spiritual practices, more all of that, and that's going to open you up to being much more in alignment, because when you do that, you're opening up to downloads, spirit guidance, you're connecting with the higher realm, you're following a higher consciousness, so you're going to be led much. So this is the new moon in the house where you become awakened to a higher concept consciousness, which really aligns you to a much better path in your work, because Capricorn is about work. This is for everybody across the board. There's work. This is a work thing.
Okay, I love this card for Taurus.
What'd you
It
get?
could not be any more perfect. We have the Wolf Pathfinder. Okay, literally it says, and this also I feel like connects with the square with the south nodes, with the nodes. So release your past and start a new journey. Yes, hello. That could be said for everyone.
Yep.
You are a teacher and help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your superpower. Again, that feels very much like Capricorn. They persevere. They keep taking the steps. So that energy that Taurans have right now to really, like you were saying too, Madelaine, about to be a teacher, to be a guide, but also recognize that where's that guidance coming from? Where's the wisdom coming from? From a higher power. It's not like, oh, I'm all that and a bag of chips, which you are, and you have support.
Yeah.
So
The
I
reason
love
you're
the
all
way.
that and a bag of chips is because there's a universe, there's God or spirit in your 50, part of the story there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So the wolf. And just for folks too that are watching this and are like, okay, these animals are great, but what do I do with this? The animal that comes through for each one of the signs is your helper for this moon cycle. So whenever you're feeling a little lost or ungrounded or untethered or confused, call on the energy and the spirit of this animal to help guide you. And you don't even have to remember what we talked about here. It's just asking for the wolf to be with you, and you will receive exactly what you need. That's it. Super simple.
I like the wolf too, because the wolf is a very gregarious animal. It works in packs, and this is an Aquarius energy where we're the more, by the way, in the energy of Aquarius coming into Pluto there, the more we collaborate with people, the better things are going to be. So there's sort of a collaboration here. The Taurans being such hard workers, in a way, they're sort of solo people. So it's like, you're going to collaborate is going to be a big factor. But yes, look up the message go online, look up the message of the animal that you pulled in, that Amalia pulls in her cards, because you'll get extra messages there,
That's exactly right. You're absolutely right. Okay. Gemini.
Gemini. Okay. This is happening in your 8th house. Wow. Interesting. I guess Geminis this is very auspicious new moon for Geminis in their money houses. So Geminis are probably going to do very, very well this year. By the way, the whole year is an 8-year, which is really auspicious. It's the 8th house. So Geminis have got some kind of new opportunity around. Maybe they had investments on something, or the investment opportunity opens up. There could be a new beginning in some sort of financial shall we say, abundance, like a financial potential windfall opens up a new beginning that is very auspicious financially, enabling you to be financially liberated, financially independent. But shall we say, there's a risk involved with the 8th house, but I wouldn't be afraid of that with these energies. A leap of faith in a way, choice. So what else can I say about a new beginning in the 8th house? Let me look at the rest of the chart. Again, with Saturn being there, it's work. So there's effort involved. So maybe you decide to start investing in something. You take on a financial risk, which might be somewhat work intensive, but you don't mind, like it's satisfying. You'll see rewards. You may end, because you've got Mars there. You may end a debt. It may, in fact, you may end a debt, or you may stop and end one form of. You may sell a house and then you get money and you end that mortgage payment that you're stuck on. You end it, which then means you have available funds for other investments. You have, let's see, let's look at what else. Where do they have Taurus? In your 12th house, you've got Saturn in your 10th. So then if we're going to go to career, oh, I'm sorry, my heater, it is freezing cold here. And I know around the news and around the world it's freezing, but in London, it's extra cold. I got to make sure so for Gemini is kind of like a, you could get inheritance. I do have a Gemini friend that they just suddenly were sent like quite a bit of money just randomly into their account from their stepmother. And it was money that their father had left them, that she had now been given, but she now sends them, and suddenly just a big wad of money came through. And that
Oh,
enables
nice.
you to initiate some form of other investment. So yeah, let me look. So, and then career, and it sextiles your career house. So, and Jupiter's in your 12th house. It's very spiritual. So maybe it frees you up to get out of a job that's very matrix paradigm, and you can be more creative and more imaginative and take a more your dream, because the energy of Pisces and Neptune there is sort of like your dream, what you really most ultimately want to do. Maybe you can start being more creative and less secure based. And if you're an artist, say for instance, you then decide to not take such a secure path with your work, and you're going to be more creative and more imaginative and more spiritual, because you're not so dependent on an old way of making your money through your arts, for instance. So you can sort of break through and take more risks, and then that really opens you up for more success. But it really takes a nice positive flow to your career house, which it will for everybody, but extra with that Saturn there. And you're restructuring. Most Gemini are restructuring their careers right now for the next 3 years. So it's like a more spiritually or soul aligned career, which is going to be for the higher good. So yeah.
I love the card for Gemini
Yeah.
so much. It's like, how can you go wrong with this? The unicorn,
Oh,
infinite possibilities. And
wow.
so it's the message of the unicorn here for Gemini, because Gemini can get caught in their mind. They waffle back and forth. They constantly change their mind. The message is abandon the darkness, listen to the light. So when you get into that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth thing, remember the energy of what this Capricorn new moon is about, and follow that I would say follow that path that feels a little uncomfortable, because that's likely leading you to where it is that you haven't been before. That is where your destined path is leading you. And
Well, what's interesting you're saying, because I know Gemini who every time they want to do something, they get an idea, they go, no, I shouldn't do that. That's really cliche, or that's not, no, people won't. And I go, no, explore it, go
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
Because if you constantly shut that down, you're shutting your imagination down. So let that go. It doesn't matter if it's not good, throw it in the trash, but where does that open you up for? So follow that.
explore. Infinite possibilities. It literally says that right here for Gemini. So I love that card. I don't think I've ever
In
pulled
that
that
one.
card from this deck before. So that was super fun. All right. So Cancer.
Yep, Cancers. I just did a couple readings yesterday for Cancer rising who have ended relationships. They've got Mars in their 7th house, ending some kind of a contract. It may not necessarily be that you end a relationship. You could just terminate a contracted relationship. Lawyers or contracted relationships, all kinds of different forms of relationships that you then end or terminate. A contract or a friendship or relationship is over. I read for a couple people that ended their relationships. And then we get new beginnings in more aligned relationships towards your long term, things that are more solid, more long term with Saturn there. And by the way, another whole angle on all of this is soul contracts, people stepping into their soul contracts. So you have most people in their chart, there's going to be relationships involved that this new moon aligns you with a soul contract. You're initiating the soul contract with another person. That is your dharma. That is what you were created for. Your destiny is tilting by Mars being there and the nodes squaring this new moon. Something is terminating, ending in the form of a contracted relationship. And now you move forward into potentially a new contracted situation. And you create this new long-term co-creative partnership venture that involves career. And then we've got Saturn in your ninth house of teaching, learning. You may study something. Writing, could be writing, because the ninth house is often writing. And then what have we got here? The nodes are in your 10th house. So it's absolutely hitting your career house. You're going to, and the nodes are in Aries. So there's some sort of fearless, all right, let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's end that. Let's stop that. There's a certain decisiveness about it because Mars is done, decisive about it. So there's some sort of ending of certain situations and then a career, a new alternative, or it can just be somewhat echoing or adaptive of the current one, slightly shifting. And it's more in alignment career wise. And then what else have we got? Jupiter in your 11th house, which involves people that you know, tribe, galvanizing people together. So I'm really excited to see, I'm Cancer rising. I'm excited to see what this new moon brings, initiating of sort of work relationships. And then with the 11th house there, it's very possible you meet new people, you meet your person, you start a new romantic relationship, most likely in this energy. And what else can we look at for you guys? Yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers it. And Pluto, oh, you guys have definitely cleared a lot of relationship attachment, codependency, addictive energies or attachments to relationships. And Pluto's going to be, the sun is going to join Pluto there. And then the sun, Pluto and the sun together move into Aquarius, your 8th house. So there's a lot of, everybody in their chart is going to get a gift from clearing a certain amount of karma. And so there's new people coming in, new tribe, and then there's sort of potentially a very positive long-term relationship coming in for most Cancer rising.
Nice. All
Yes,
right.
you get the
Well,
gift of all that hard work. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
we have the snow leopard for Cancer, and the message is self-reliance. So I feel like what a perfect message for those Cancerians, especially with the 7th house moon, sun moon activation with this new moon, giving them that boost of knowing that they are okay on their own. They're not like Libra in terms of like feeling like they need somebody, but there is this sense of like home and family and that domestic sort of vibe. I have a Cancerian friend who is, she's currently single and she is looking for a relationship. She's looking for a relationship, but she's also she's also come to a place of tremendous peace around being on her own and recognizing that she has the sovereignty of herself to make choices and make do things that only she wants to do. She doesn't have to rely on anybody else. She doesn't have to consider anybody else. And it's a really beautiful place for her to be in. So I love the snow leopard. And you know, if you look at this card too, I mean, the snow leopard, there's this dignity and this sovereignty and this sort of like royal demeanor that is just like flowing from this beautiful feline. So I just love that it's got that feminine, powerful feminine energy too for Cancer.
That is literally the perfect message and card. Absolutely. Most Cancers have been learning to stand on their own 2 feet, be in their own power. Wherever Pluto is we're learning to be in our own power in relationships. Most Cancer give their power away to relationships because they have a fear-based attachment to relationships. They think wherever Capricorn is where you think God is God. And so they had to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet and that they are their own God, not the relationship. Their relationship with God is their God, as it were, or whatever you call God. I'm not religious, but I mean the higher
power.
Yeah. Higher power.
All right.
Wow.
Leo.
Okay, Leo, you guys
Excited
have
to hear.
Oh, good. I'm liking this for Leo because I have some Leos in my life that could really use a shift in their perspective. So this is like a whole, because they got the nodes in their ninth house. So they're really going to shift a big perspective, ending an old perspective of something, and it squares their sixth house, which caused them a lot of enemies, combative energy, or shall we say stress. And so there's a perception now they're ending, and it is of service because the sixth house is of service. So they're probably ending some way that they've been of service, which they were rigid thinking around. And so now they're opening it up and it's releasing their stress. They're relaxing about something and they have a new beginning there. So they sort of open up to a more soul aligned, spiritually aligned, destiny aligned way of being of service that, they had to sort of have a new perspective in order to do, as it were, to end an old way of seeing things. It could be that you end a job as well, because the sixth house is a job or a way of working. And then we've got this Capricorn energy that's in your sixth house. So, new day-to-day routine, whole new day-to-day routine. It's shifting your day-to-day life. That's why it could often be a work thing. You've got Jupiter in your 10th house, career, being very blessed, Saturn in your 8th, which is restructuring your finances. And the 8th house is also a relationship house. So there's a lot of financial restructuring of joint financing. And then also health issues. Karma has been, I know Leos who've not necessarily been not unhealthy, but with Pluto leaving your 9th house, your 6th house, you're resolving some sort of stressful way of existing that is sort of fear-based, that causes stress in your life, trying to be busy for the sake of being busy because you think you need to be busy to be successful. Ending that and then being much more in alignment with working with the higher realm and just being more internal, motivated from a more internal place rather than the busy place. And then connecting before acting. And a new beginning in your health routine as well. That's going to last you a long time. But there is definitely a ending of an old way of existing that creates frustration, stress, unhealthy, and possibly conflict. And also maybe ending, if you're a boss, you hire people, you could be ending an employee relationship there. A pet could die. Sorry. That's the most hard thing.
I know.
When I had Pluto on my descendant, I got divorced, my kids left the nest, sold the house, and my dog died. And everyone's like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. I said the dog dying was the most challenging part.
Yes. I know animals, they just like steal our hearts.
Yeah, that was the hardest part about it. So, but then, or a new pet, but this is more significant than just a new pet. This is a big new moon where we're really shifting our work and our destiny. So you could become a vet. You could suddenly see that it's your spiritual purpose to be in the vet, to do that as well. Anyway, so that's kind of it, guys. Yeah.
I so feel what you're saying about this moon, and the card associated with this, I feel, will resonate with those Leos who have been walking the spiritual path for a little while and are ready to really break, just like let's just go. For those who are just dabblers or who are not totally like what's the word I'm looking for here, that aren't totally, they're not really sold. They're not really sold on the spiritual thing yet, which I don't really want to use that term, is not great, but it kind of gets the point across. We have the Raven, and the message is shaman. So it's, you are the creator and the magician. Use your gifts for good. And so I know a number of Leos, including myself, that we could get caught up in the fear around security and safety and, oh my God. And like, we really want to go out there and be heart-centered and, be playful and fun and shine our light. We're ruled by the sun. And yet there's these things that hold us back, that we get scared. And then we go into like money fear or what people will think and all of those things that will hold us back. And oftentimes Leos can also be very self-focused. So we'll be focused more on ourselves versus the community or the greater good. So it's a great reminder for
Wow.
Leos to look at the bigger picture, not just the solo picture.
Well,
Yes,
that
did you have
really
something
nails
on the
it
down?
because the fifth house is the house of shamanism.
Oh,
So basically, Leos are going to become more centered on healing, being healers in some way. That's a very wide parameter there.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
of service, more service oriented, more motivated by being of higher service.
I
Service
want
is
to read the rest of this for one Leo in particular who I know watches us every moon cycle.
okay.
So this is for you, Erica. So you are the creator and magician. Use your gifts for good. There is power in your wisdom and words. Connect with the elemental spirits and glide through the void. Claim your place as keeper of the mysteries. And she already knows all these things. It's just a reminder because she is about ready to just explode onto the scene. And
Good.
I'm so excited for that for her. So I just wanted to give her a little extra raven love.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Uh Virgo.
Talking about the shamans, Virgo
Yeah,
house. Okay, so
that's
you
true.
guys are going to have Capricorn over your fifth house. So you've really cleared a lot of karma around relationships, friendships, being in wrong friends groups, or making friends for sort of the wrong reason. As we're talking about here, a lot of these things, you're probably going to end some friendships here in this new moon, that which were fear-based or security-based choices, or just feeling like you need to keep friends, for the sake of them. And then now we've got a new friendship coming in, potentially romantic relationships, new beginnings. Usually fifth house relationships don't last very long, but it could be a friendship that then turns into a really long-term marriage partnership. We're looking at collaborative creative projects in the fifth house. Um, let's pull the whole thing here. We've got Jupiter in your ninth, so a lot of higher consciousness development happening for Virgo rising. I know one in particular who probably is really expanding their philosophical perspective in the world. And Saturn in your seventh house. So this is very much a relationship one for Virgo, a new moon, co-creative projects with relationships, more in alignment with your soul contract, serving humanity, and more of a spiritual element to it all, which would indicate that it's more celebratory of the non-material plane rather than more to the ethereal, which would indicate maybe, let's think of options and ideas like that, work, creative projects, perhaps artistic projects that celebrate spiritualism, yoga, healthy eating. Gosh, I'm blanking.
Well, so
But
I have an idea
yeah,
about that. And I'm curious at the same time. So my daughter is a Virgo sun. She has an artistic side project that she's been working on for quite some
okay.
time that relates to and I've mentioned it before, that relates to kind of like getting like your thoughts in tune
Mm,
with your feelings and how you navigate that in the world. And it's really,
right.
really cool, called orderly thoughts. It's very inspiring.
Very
And
spiritual.
she's also in a place of a potential job transition, and it's creative. Like her work is very creative in nature, and she's looking at all these different aspects of, okay, how do I take my creativity and make that into a career, not the side hustle thing, although that she was like that would be great for her, but she doesn't see how that's a path that's going to lead her to a path of financial stability. So,
It might in this new moon. Just
right.
throwing it
Okay.
out there. But yeah.
So that could, or maybe even her work focus is more on a creative, maybe some spiritually minded or supportive projects versus these ones that might be more uh, on the surface appearing to be financially abundant, because there may
Right.
be another avenue or path, like just opening up to that possibility of a spiritually minded creative project that could lead to some financial stability.
Yes, actually, that's a good point, because even if it's not necessarily spiritual, but it's better for the planet or better for the world or helping people align
Yeah.
better to their more abundant path. Like, for instance, helping people learn how to communicate and conflict resolve. Maybe it may not necessarily seem spiritual, but we're advancing humanity somehow in this new direction. So it's a really wide range of things that I don't see how that's spiritual, but actually just really helping people is that.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Is there something else you wanted to say, or shall I do the card?
Um, I think you're good for the card. Let's go for it.
Okay. So we have the moose. It's the card of the message of wisdom. And I love this for Virgo too. Let your head and mind reach to the stars, yet keep your feet grounded on the earth. Virgo is an earth sign, and however, ruled by Mercury. So they can get caught in their head oftentimes. So this is just a reminder to bring it back, ground yourself. Listen to the ancient wisdom of your soul. The answers speak through you. And again, I feel like Virgos have so much wisdom in them that they can communicate if they just trust themselves enough to share it. My daughter is a prime example of that. I mean, when she says things, I'm just blown away by the wisdom that she carries in her young physical body. It's amazing. So just Virgos, just trust that wisdom that you carry and know that it's going to carry you through creatively for something that's going to be a potential career path for you, or a long-term way of potentially making money or
Well,
contributing to the world.
yeah, I think the more creative the Virgo is, because it's the fifth house, is, oh, by the way, you could also have a child, fifth house, new moon. But the more creative you go with this new beginning, more abundant. So it's like, it's hard for people to have faith. I see 444 right now where I am, which is like we're getting over the fear of trusting a creative project or creative process. And because it doesn't sometimes seem abundant or money or secure. So maybe you're going to start doing a creative project, which you normally wouldn't think is financially abundant, but you see an opportunity now that encourages you or gives you the faith that there will be abundance around this. So cool.
Yay. That's pretty
Great.
great.
So yeah, the more creative, the better for Virgo.
All right, Libra.
Libra. Oh, oops, stop. Oops, sorry, I made a mistake here with my little thing. I went too far. Libra, where are you? Come back. Okay, Libra. So Capricorn covers your fourth house for Libra. So we're looking at like ending one living situation with Mars there. The nodes are in your first seventh house of relationship. So you could be ending relationships and ending a living situation, moving, and a new beginning in a new living situation or a new family, a whole new family that's going to last a long time, that's more in alignment with your family, divine family, as it were. In other words, this is very much also a very relationship transit for Libra, because usually living situations involve relationships and letting go of a relationship, moving, ending a relationship, a living situation. A parent could pass away, you move because mother is the fourth house. So there's moving involved, changing a living situation, letting go of one living situation. And Jupiter is in your eighth house. So a lot of positive co-financing, shared resources, moving forward, causing a lot of abundance for Libra. So it looks to me like a new relationship coming in. Sixth house, career, Jupiter, Saturn being trine there. Something with work opens up and flows on a day-to-day, a new structuring of your day-to-day routine. I would say that clearing karma on creating families. Perhaps Libra have been trying to create families that haven't been working, that haven't been their true soul family. Now the true soul family is initiating 1111, the one that is in alignment for you. Libras tend to get into relationships that aren't necessarily aligned with their highest path, their destiny. So now we're looking at that sort of with the nodes there, south node on your first house, letting go of, shall we say, ego-based choices for relationships, and more with the home. You're going to find your real home, your real family. Which is going to be financially much more in alignment and more abundant for you because of that Jupiter in your 8th house. So there's joint financing in a positive relationship. It's positive, so it takes you somewhere really good. It sounds so shallow. It takes you somewhere good, but it's like there's going to have been problems in these 3 areas for Libra for a while with Pluto there, and now that eases up, and now you're going to give the gift of a true family, your real family, and your real person, and soul contracts coming in for projects, all of that. So let's see what you got.
So funny with the Libra card, you barely even started talking. Like, I think you were just getting the chart pulled up and this card came flying out.
Oh, wow.
So I wasn't sure if it was the right card or not, but I was shuffling the deck again. I'm like, yeah, this is it. I don't even need to go any further. So the card for Libra is the dragonfly magic. So
Ooh.
I embrace my transformation. I courageously let go of the past. The magic of nature is in me. I am brilliant and I am blessed. So just remember that, Libra. Just remember that you have an opportunity here. You've got, what was it? Fourth, eighth, and sixth house activations. And so to me, I mean, all the houses have value, but for you, I think you're really going to feel a difference in your life. Like you were saying, you're going to move towards something good. Things are really going to open up for you in your day to day, in your relationships, your creativity, maybe expanding your family. There's so much goodness and magic that awaits you. Just remember that you have everything you need within you. And it might be a little uncomfortable at first, but it's going to feel really good if you just allow yourself to step onto this unknown path.
Yeah, the dragonfly as a animal symbology is very abundant. So that really resonates with the 8th house, Taurus.
Very abundant. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, Jupiter's hitting at that 5 degree where the eclipse was. So it's kind of maybe a little bit of an eclipse energy for everybody in their Taurus house, something opening up there where the eclipse promised. Now we're going to see it, which is great because I read for people and I'm thinking, oh, this eclipse is going to bring you all this stuff. And we're like, oh, when's that happening? And I expected it around the eclipse, but now I know if the planet is in retrograde, it's going to take a while, or, anyway. All right.
It's not immediate. Okay.
Yeah.
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Okay. Capricorn over your 3rd house. So Scorpio have been learning a lot with Pluto in their 3rd house about communication. Oftentimes new moons in the 3rd house can bring you a group of people around you, like a new neighbor. Somewhere else in your chart you move, and so there's new neighbors. Sometimes somewhere else in your chart you've got a relationship transit, so you get a new relationship, so you have new people around you. It's also a business house. It is a work house. So new beginnings in collaborative work, business partnerships, or just maybe a new job. That's going to last you a long time. That is in alignment. That is creating security in that position. I mean, creating security in your life for a while. I know of Scorpio who will be very happy to hear that. And they're going to have, again, they've got Saturn in their 5th house. So there's restructuring of their 5th house. When I say again, I mean, there's potential for a baby in that 5th house transit with a trine, but also it's a metaphor for creative projects, collaborative projects, something entrepreneurial coming in. Jupiter in your 7th house is good potential that your relationship opens up here in this particular time with that trine and that sextile going on in your 7th house. The nodes squaring your 3rd house, you may end a job and a group of people that you're around, and then there's new people coming around you. The south node in your 12th house, you let go of, well, we're not going into all of that, so I don't want to get distracted by all that, but the north node in your 6th house is your destiny is changing. So your day-to-day life is changing. Your health habits and routines are going to change. So you could quit something. You could quit an addiction, which really helps you stabilize your health for the next long term and help stabilize a work situation for the long term. Ending employment situations for the new more in alignment one. Oh, let's see, what else can I talk about? So Mars is your ruling planet, and Mars is ruling the nodes right now. So this is very prominent. People really do feel the Mars transit of ending something, redirecting, course correcting, and that's your first. You're ruled by Mars, so you're going to feel it pretty strong, ending some sort of ego-based choices, security-based choices. That's the theme of the whole reading, but it's ruling of your first house. So this is very ego shifting, ego collapsing. When I say that, I mean just like some sort of failure. You meet with some sort of failure, but then that just aligns you more to the more less resistant path that you've been efforting on. That is resistant. That isn't your true path. So let's see what card you get.
All right. We have for Scorpio, the owl magic. So this card reminds me, I mean, the owl's been coming up quite a lot lately with some readings I've been doing with people. And it's that inner wisdom that we all carry. Also the ability to see in the darkness. So, Scorpio too, I feel like this resonates very much with the ability to go into those dark, shadowy spaces of ourselves, see what's there and embrace it, be okay with it, allow it the space to be there, not judge ourselves. And as you can tell, I feel like this is where I've been for the past few months, is really like doing a deep dive into self, cleaning out those dusty cobwebs in the corner and embracing what I discover about myself. And, you were talking about ending ego and security-based choices. So I for sure have seen that where I've made choices, financial choices based on a need for security or safety in some way, where while an okay choice, not a mistake, definitely I can see where there might be some avenues of taking a leap of faith or making a different choice because it's really truly aligned with my soul. Travel being one of them. I'm doing a lot of traveling, and that really, my soul is craving it. But I have all these voices outside going, "What are you doing? That's so crazy. How can you afford it?" All the blah blah blahing. Then I start getting scared. Then I start questioning my choices. So, it's just really, for me, I think the owl is just a reminder that there's magic all around. When you step closer towards yourself, towards your soul, the doors will open. You have the wisdom. You can see in the darkness. Everything is okay. And it says, rise up. Magic and wisdom are your birthright. So I love this for Scorpio.
Yeah, that's really in alignment with the whole message of this reading, which is to be more in alignment with a spiritual guidance, higher guidance, soul guidance. That's where we access more wisdom.
Yeah, just trust that.
So yeah.
All right, Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. Okay, so you guys have Capricorn over your second house. Yay. Good. Yeah, my son is very Jupiter ruled Sag. He's Pisces rising, but Sagittarius sun, Saggy moon. I'm Saggy sun. So this is great for Sagittarius, a new beginning in your finances. Very blessed, these new beginnings, that is financially stabilizing and securing for the long term, a new income, more, shall we say, soul aligned, more of service, more better for humanity in some way. It's what's needed. All of this, everybody's new beginnings is what the world needs, and not necessarily what we think. Capricorn over the second house is definitely that ego, and also quitting an old way of making money, quitting an old sort of venture, whether it made money or not. Maybe it wasn't making money. Now something comes in that is making more money, a new venture, and it is more what is humanity supportive or helps humanity better in some way. And so you're going to have this also with the Mars there, of course, ending an old job or ending with the nodes squaring it. And interestingly enough, we get the fifth house there with the nodes in your fifth house. There's a more, it's more creative again in that, in the sense that there's something more entrepreneurial, more risky, creative, maybe something you didn't think would have been creative. And in other words, something that was creative to the point that you didn't think would work. That's very much the theme of the nodes in the fifth house, redirecting you to take, and it's an Aries, so taking more bold action, having more, shall we say, fearlessness around instigating a creative venture. I remember, I'm Sagittarius. I remember the same cycle before. I started running an art gallery. And I just never thought I would be able to succeed at that, or just didn't know how to do it. And we ended up doing it was a collective, because that's a fifth house. It's a collective, something collective, and it ended up doing quite well. So it was like I never would have. It's not something I would have consciously decided, but it landed in the lap because the space opened it up, and we all just said, "Wow, what a beautiful space for a gallery! Let's just do it." So that kind of an energy where you just go, you have collaborations, people coming together, you go, "Wow, this looks like it'll work," and you just pull together and you do it, and it's going to work. So it opens up your financing, new beginnings with money. And then we've got Taurus, Jupiter in your sixth house, which is, again, creating a lot of busyness, being very, very busy during the year. And Jupiter leaves the fifth house into your seventh house in May. So a lot of busyness, and very productive period. Yeah. So let me look. Saturn in your fourth, potentially restructuring your living situation and working kind of in a way at home. You could be, I actually know what's so funny. When I was I'm Sagittarius, my Sagittarius sun. If I go to my Sagittarius sun, I'm rising Cancer. I was also rebuilding my house at that time, fixing it up. So Saturn and it took about 2.5 to 3 years to do it. So Saturn, you're restructuring your living situation, maybe even literally building something. So, okay, what do you got for Sagittarius?
All right, so Sagittarius, we have the cat, and the message is independent. So what really strikes me about this is you don't have to go with the crowd. Life supports you in every way. So it's a reminder that as Sagittarians, your career path may not be just like everybody else's. It's going to be something different. And this with the cat reminds you that there is an intuitive nature to maybe what path that you're going to take or what you're going to do. So like Madelaine, for you, astrology there's a wisdom to it, but there's also an intuitive piece to it, as well as it not being kind of like your run-of-the-mill job. It's very, very different. And that trusting that life will come and support you and just continue down that path. So if there's some Sagittarians out there who are a little bit nervous about taking a leap of faith when it comes to their career because it's something outside the norm or outside the box, I think this cat energy is reminding you to do that. Cats are very independent. They don't care what you think or what you want. They're doing what they want to do and what feels good to them. I think we can all take a page out of the book of cats on occasion, like just really not worrying so much about what other people think and really following our own internal wisdom and knowing around what's best for us, because we know. So the cat, Sagittarius.
Okay, looks good. The nodes are going to be in Aries until next year. So creative project in the year, playing out throughout the year, something creative, like running the art gallery is very creative, it was about the arts. So, yeah.
Okay. Capricorn.
Oh my lordy, you guys have this all in your first house. That's great. Because, this trine, Mars. Okay, so Mars is in your first house. So you probably end some kind of ego pursuit that isn't really working out, over it, ending it. you've got Jupiter in your fifth house. So something very expansive and creative opening up for you, a creative project opening up, creating abundance for you, expanding your life in that way. Oh, good thing for Capricorn. You're going to have Pluto in your second house, which could be very good money for you guys, and retransforming your finances to, if you're very, 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 very rich right now as a Capricorn, it might, you might transform it to the brokenness. I'm not going to say that. That's probably not true. But let's just say wherever you are, we're going to get a big transformation. It could just be that you transform how you make your money. And Capricorn, being so security based, they're the most security based. The work is the hardest of them, the most disciplined. So maybe now you let go and you trust the universe more, and you make decisions that are more flow, more risky. But this is not a new moon where we're just jumping in the dark and just taking some major scary risk and we're just hoping. There's support. We're feeling okay about it. It looks like an open door. It's a blessing. And it's more in alignment with your true soul. This could be very abundant new beginnings for Capricorn, because now they're really aligning with something that is much more. Their ruling planet is in the sign of Pisces. So it's really about the soul, the internal. It's extremely creative. And Capricorn, when you mix, Elvis Presley has Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Pisces in his chart. When you mix Capricorn with that creative force, that is the most abundant right there. That is a lot of success. So I think for Capricorn, they're really, an opportunity opens up that sends them down a more risky but creative, much more creative, but somehow universally supported, and they're ready for it. They're ready because they've been going through Pluto in their first house. So they've had a major transformation out of fear-based into faith-based. And now something opens up where they feel like, for instance, my ex-husband is Capricorn rising, and he always worked very, very hard in jobs that were just boring. He hated them in the music industry, like in TV stuff. And he hated that. And now it's like he started, and really his soul yearned for more production of music and of creative bands and more stuff. Well, that slowly, with Pluto in his first house, he started leaning more towards those types of works, despite how broke it made him. But now that's all starting to work out, and he's starting to see that was what the universe wanted him to do, because they have Capricorn over the fifth house. Wait, I'm sorry, not Capricorn. That's who has Capricorn over the fifth house? That's Virgo. No, they have to learn. They have Taurus over the fifth house, which is ruled by Venus. So it's like they are trusting the stability that creates in their life by taking more out of the box approaches and not heading, and like really the theme for them is the loudest in not being so security based. So taking some sort of experimental creative path, which is actually the most abundant state for Capricorn, because once you put that hard working effort with the creative, because a lot of creatives aren't that disciplined. It's Sagittarians and Pisces are not very disciplined, but you throw some Capricorn in there. That's that mix. That's that ingredient that makes it really solid. So for Capricorn, they're seeing the fruits. They're going to get a big gift when Pluto leaves into their second house. And a lot of belief in themselves, faith in the universe, faith in a more creative path, because they will see the fruits. They will see that it will bear fruit, which Capricorn need. They need that.
So curious about Capricorns when it comes to, because I'm thinking of my guy and a soul sister of mine too, who are both Capricorns. So funny how similar they are. When I especially when I see them together, I'm like, oh my gosh, you two with your energy. It's just quite hilarious and adorable at the same time. And so what really strikes me for both of them is that I feel like in the past year, 2 years, they've both gone through a really huge transformation when it comes to how they approach their careers, how they navigate their relationship with money. And for one of them, she's had a really, really hard time with putting herself in a position of trusting the universe will open up. So when it shows up for her, when those opportunities show up, she's like, oh my gosh, this is so great. But when they start to fade away, which I feel like is just the universe allowing her to um to find that happy medium, to maybe course correct a little bit, maybe shift a little bit, to show her, okay, these are it's possible. We just need to tweak the path a little bit. For Capricorn sun people, what would you say is like that would be their best bet as far as like tr- tr- um to feel that sense of security around their abundance, around their path forward when it comes to their careers, um, in
I
this
know,
time
I
of
love
transition?
to
Do you know
say
what
this.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And this is funny because they have to know, they have to know it with all their heart that they're goats. They will land on their feet. They are the one sign that if that of all the signs that can take a risk and jump out there and do something off the cuff, the goat will land on their feet. They're the one sign of all the signs that can take a risk because they will and that's why it's so the universe is frustrated at Capricorn because it's like you don't get it. You're the ones who can do this the most because you've got the stable footing, but they like to keep the stable footing, but it's like, no, jump off the edge of the cliff because you will land on the edge on your feet. You'll land on some sort of edge somewhere. When you watch mountain goats, they just like they go they just land right on these little tiny little teeny edges. So they're the
Okay.
most of all the signs that should be the most risk-taking, creative, and jump and leap because they land no matter what.
All right, Diane, are you hearing that?
Heard that, Capricorns?
Yes,
You don't need to worry about your footing.
it's
You've
all
got
good.
it.
So I'm going to share the card now, if that's cool with you, Madeline. Are you
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
So what I love about this card too is it's so to me the antithesis, yet still a part of the Capricorns I know, but this is a little harder for them. The dolphin, play,
Yeah. There we
play,
go.
have some fun,
Mhm.
swim in the happy joy of living, dive into your wisdom, go with the flow. So just again, it's like the
Play.
same
That's your,
message.
yep, that's the creative thing. It's basically play.
Yeah. Play in the
Because
water.
you know what? Capricorn are two hard workers. They can't just work. They all joy and all work and no play. They're very dull.
So go play.
They need to add
Go
some play
play.
in there. Absolutely.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
Oh my God. So
No
perfect. I
offense
love
to
it.
Capricorns. You're not dull, but their lives feel a bit dull if it's just work, no play. All right.
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Well, you guys are going to have Pluto in your first house. You guys are going to be the leaders of the new Earth. Aquarius are very, very significant in this new era. Aquarians are fabulous. They galvanize people. They bring groups of people together. They're the networkers. I have Aquarius friends. They are always called the camp counselors. So you guys are. This is the era of Aquarians. So now Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, of course, so they take a little bit of a safety, similar Capricornian vibe, but now they're going to be, I think they're going to get major downloads and wake up. Aquarians are going to have massive awakenings to their true purpose here, which is to lead us into the new earth and to galvanize people because we need to galvanize each other. We need to come together to change the earth. We can't, the more the people are more powerful, we know we're very divided with the politics and all this sort of stuff. Well, the Aquarians are going to come along and galvanize us because that's the only way we can change the world is that we all come together. And the people, it's power to the people with Pluto and Aquarius. So the Aquarians are going to be our, I mean, not to exaggerate, but our salvation, as it were, just in the sense that they're going to be the ones that can do this, that can really help us with this. And so this is a new moon in their 12th house. So Aquarians having karma, that's a big karmic house. So they've been really working through a lot of, I want to say like past life trauma and past life. Let's put it this way. the fear to walk a safe path is deep in their psyche. And so now we really liberate that. The Aquarians have healed that. And so now they're a force to be reckoned with. That this is a new moon. The Aquarius is the 11th house. It's 11. They're aligning. They're going to lead us. They're going to be in alignment, and they're going to stick their necks out, and they're going to be, and it's ruled by Saturn. So they're going to be the people that that help us understand how to manifest abundance through work. They pull us together, which is all centered on career as well. So let's take a look at where some of the other things are. So they've got the nodes in their 3rd house, and they've got Mars there in their 12th house. So they're ending a karmic cycle big time. Ending I'm trying to say it like this, like shifting on a deep soul level, because the 12th house is our past life. It's kind of like the soul. It's the house. It's Neptune. It's Pisces. It's very, very spiritual. So they're really ending the propensity to walk a non-spiritual path. They're going to have a big transformation in their motivations, because they're here for humanity. So now they've really cleared the motive to create security, and they're going to step forward into serving humanity on a big level. I've been waiting for the Aquarians to do this, because I know they're going to be the ones to do this. And a lot of Aquarius, because they've got Capricorn in their 12th house, I've been surprised at how matrix their choices have been and how matrix they are. But it's part of the process for them to really take that to the limit. And now that it's to the limit, and now they're ready, as it were, to enter the new plateau, which is the higher realm, because Aquarius is the aliens, as it were, the future. They're mostly the people that are sent here from the other planets, because they're the least amount of people in astrology. Aquarius is the least popular sign, as it were. So a lot of people think they're all aliens. I've heard it. I'm just kidding. But
I'm curious. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, so I'm curious with these Aquarians, what are their ages? Because I
They
also
even
feel
look
like
they've always got blue eyes. They've got very sort of, the sort of that look, these blue eyes, they've got that kind of alien that they're from another planet eyes, a little bit. But say that again. What was the
what are the I'd be curious about the Aquarians that you're talking to and you're in conversation with, maybe doing sessions with. What are their ages? Because I also feel like that makes a difference.
Yes.
Where are they in their life cycle? Because some are just not ready to step into it. I also feel like some Aquarians they've been put through the ringer, and now they're like, what the F? I don't understand what's going on. And it's really pushing them to continue to expand their mind to, how do I want to say this? It's like everything around them points to life sucks, life's hard, life is unfair.
That's Pluto in their 12th house. Yeah.
And how they emerge from that going, okay, I see why all of this happened. I don't have to like it, but I see how it was for me. And how can I take this wisdom and then share that with other people and change my life based on what I've learned, what I've gone through, what I've experienced.
Well, let's go with my dad. He's Aquarius rising. He has completely changed. He's a diplomat. He works for the government. He's very great diplomat, though. Stopped wars. I'm very proud of my dad. Very humanitarian. All of that great stuff is there. But now he's gotten so much more spiritual. He's like, because Aquarians can be quite cold and distant and keep everybody at a, kind of cold. And now he's like, tells me that he misses me. He's very loving on his emails, and he's just completely changed. He's more spiritual. He's funny because he's waking up because he wants to talk to me about these things, and he never would, which he's very, very skeptical, atheist type. But so I say the whole range. Your younger Aquarians are going to be no karma. They're very low karma, very little karma. So they're probably the biggest, ballsiest of the people who are going to take us into the new earth. They're just really, they're just going to just do it. Like when I see younger Aquarians, I'm just blown away at how, no, they're taking this risky path. They're going out there. They're doing something that's mega changing the earth. You don't know how they're going to make money. They have zero doubt about it. They're doing it. They're so on their path. They're so in alignment. They have total clarity. But the older ones had more karma with that Capricorn over their 12th house, where they have a little bit more trauma from the dark era, because we're coming out of the dark era. So there's a little bit more trauma where they had to really want to create stability and security. But now they're waking up. You're going to get massive awakenings. They're just like, it's like when you wake up and you go, aha, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to bring humanity into a higher state of consciousness, into a higher vibration, into a higher state of living. I'm here to be a part of the new earth. And they're going to just get on board. And the new earth is very spiritual because we've been very matrix. So the new earth is more balanced. And they're going to have a very interesting angle on spiritualism. They're not, I want to say woo-woo, or what the word is. They have a very futuristic, liberating, emancipatory energy around it. Like, let's go, it's the party, let's do it, let's fun. It's like, let's not just live to live. Let's make life the bomb and make it fun, and let's go be eccentric, because Aquarians can be quite eccentric. So it's like they suddenly let their freak flags fly. They're more free. They're a little bit more oddballs. So a lot of them are holding that oddballness back so that they're secure. So you're going to see this sort of transformation in Aquarians in your life, really. And it's been building because Pluto's is coming into that sign. So it's like you're going to see them being very liberated in their identity. They're going to be more, their identity is going to be more connecting to a sort of like that, like I'm not saying Burning Man is like a great, wonderful thing. I don't know enough about it, so I'm not making a good judgment. But you know how people dress in Burning Man? They're really wild and eccentric. That's very Aquarius. And it's about the people getting together and supporting each other and loving on each other and looking like wildness, but we're no longer matrix, so we don't have to be in a suit and tie or dress like in a way that means I get a job. There's more liberating, I'm free energy. So I think it's really exciting for Aquarians. I think it's going to be awesome for them.
I also feel like there's some karma clearing that has needed to take place for them. And some of them may not be aware or ready, and that may hold them back a little bit. And so for anyone,
I'd be surprised. I would be surprised with this new moon because it's in the 11, it's on the 111. I would think that you're going to see a big transformation for them. I would think they're ready now because Pluto's about to enter their sign. So I think you're going to see rapid shifts in
which
Aquarius.
is awesome. Which is awesome for Aquarians.
So we'll see.
So for the,
right. Look at the
for
purple.
the Aquarian,
this purple.
I know. I've been looking at that.
I know. And it's like, that's the Aquarius energy. It's higher vibration. It's connected to that's the 12th house is purple. So
it's been there off and on throughout. I don't remember exactly when I noticed it, but
it has been there before. I only noticed it now. Wow. Okay. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my prediction for Aries. For Aquarius, I think this new moon really changes everybody to direction to their awakened path. That's another way to call it, your awakened path.
So for Aquarius, the card that came out for them was personal choice, which means you get to choose what animal you feel is necessary and needed for you. Now, I didn't want to leave you guys hanging that way, so I asked for another card, and we got the Lion, Higher Calling, which could not be any more in tune with Aquarians.
Yeah. They're the ones who are here to assist humanity into the new age, no doubt about it. Yeah.
You will find success and contentment with those by your side. So it's really finding your tribe, finding your people, working together. That is going to be a huge theme going forward.
Yeah, they're the ones that are going to galvanize us and bring us together. So there you go. Perfect card for that.
Yeah. All right. And to wrap it up, Pisces.
So you've got Saturn in your first house. restructuring your life, taking on more responsibilities. It is good to have Pisces to Saturn in your first house. I'm seeing a lot of good things happening for Pisces rising with their work and taking on more responsibilities. The nodes in your second house. So we have Mars in your 11th. So you're going to end either a social media platform that you've been doing that isn't working, and a tribe group that hasn't been in alignment for you, or end a way of working online, or end something, and opening up to a new moon there, new tribe, new audience, new, shall we say, maybe a new platform, a new social media. In fact, interesting, because I am Pisces moon, and I've literally just gotten a whole bunch of clarity. I've struggled on my social media websites. I just have never really gotten clarity about how to do it, who to be on there, just who to be me on there, all of that. And I literally feel clarity now. Like, it's so weird. Like I suddenly know how to, not know, but I kind of vibe the right, I'm feeling it. And so perhaps a new start in your social media, which lasts a nice long time. New tribes. So let's look at the other houses. The nodes in your second house. So you're really gravitating to a new income, a new way of making money, and possibly ending one way of making money. And what else can we look at here? Third house with Jupiter, you may start a new business. You may, because you've got Capricorn over your 11th house. You've ended sort of karmic tribes that are more karmic. And now there's a new beginning there, which could mean that you meet a whole new group of people, because you've got this nodes in you've got Jupiter there in your third house. So it's like new people around you, and new groups of people around you, or you could literally start a new business, and also a website. Jupiter in your third house, you could literally start a new social media platform and start a new website and start writing on it, communicating. Yeah, Pisces.
It also feels like there might be more like expansion in with your communication on social media platforms, which might actually really create some expansion in those areas for you, which then leads to your destined path of financial abundance with your nodes in the second house.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. Because now I feel like I can talk on social media more, because I don't know why, but I always felt like I had to be structured with it. And I couldn't figure out how to do it. But now I just go on there and just talk normally. I mean, you just go on there and just talk. It doesn't, that just felt suddenly like I could flow with that more. So that's a good one. Yes. And my son, who is Pisces rising, is definitely shifting up he's feeling a new motivation to sort of be more out there on social media and express his more authentic self on there. And through that, because Pisces don't consciously know it, but when they just get into a more watery flow, they flow more into their destiny, and it's not from a headspace. So you just kind of consciously don't know it, but you're flowing more into your spiritual path without really necessarily being conscious of it.
Yeah.
I
think that is true of Pisces. So the Pisces animal that is here to help and guide them is the white stag. It's a protector. You are an old soul. So true of Pisces. Pisces are old souls. Your best friend is nature. So again, to me, this is a reminder: be in nature, connect with nature, allow nature to nurture and support you through this process. You'll get inspiration there. You'll have, and the other thing too is like, you might meet people when you're there. It could be that you take a walk and you run into somebody that becomes someone that's a very big support to you. It could be somebody that you meet that's part of your tribe. Awaken to the powerful force within you. You are meant to create blessings with your magic. And I think that most Pisces are here to do that, similar to Aquarians, but it's a slightly different energy for them, where it's like they're pulling from their deep reservoir, their deep pool of wisdom, and they're sharing that. And that creates magic for them and for those around them as well.
Yeah,
As
that's
long
interesting. You get that. Yeah, because Neptune is that magical energy. It's the sort of, it's the other realm, the higher dimension, which, well, where magic comes from.
interesting that that my guy has Neptune, like, what is it? I think 2 degrees away from his sun in Capricorn. So he's
Oh,
definitely going to be with a Pisces ascendant. So he's this moon is pivotal for him.
yeah. This will be interesting because he's rising Pisces, Capricorn sun. What's his
Yeah,
moon? What's his moon?
Taurus, Taurus.
Wow, he's got Jupiter. Wow, talk about him creating this kite. Crazy. Saturn is in his first house. Jupiter's on his moon. Capricorn is the new moon. So his whole chart is a whole kite all lit up like it's going to be crazy. Wow. Fun
Huge.
to watch him this year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, Saturn return time too. So there's so much, like, this is such a big foundational time for him on so many
He has
levels.
Saturn in the first house. He has a Pisces Saturn.
Um, Hold on.
My son does. My son has Pisces in the first house. He's having a Saturn return right now.
Yes.
What degree is his Saturn?
8.
Mm.
Yep. 8.
Yeah, slightly off the orb of Saturn, but it's definitely opening up the path that's preparing him for his Saturn return. Because I find that when people are coming up to their Saturn return, it usually takes about a year or so that things are starting to line you up to the thing that you do on your Saturn return. Like on my
Yeah.
first Saturn return, I quit working and raised my kids, but I had my kids, or one of my kids, 2 years before my Saturn return.
Ah,
So things start happening, and then that Saturn return really tilts your destiny. But it's already pretty much lined up for it. So
yeah,
he's lining up.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, interesting times for everybody.
Ideal for
So
him. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
happy new moon for everybody. I'm excited.
yes. And so just, really, really take some time to reflect and to set some heartfelt intentions for this new moon. Have a ritual, have a ceremony. I like what Madelaine said, when you're really I want to call, like, spell casting, and you're putting your intentions out of the universe, looking up and being able to actually see that sliver of the moon that's there,
I
that's
want to
lighting the way.
wait.
I think is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, on the new moon itself, that's a great time to access the
What?
energy. And then when you see that sliver is when you really put it out there into the universe. So there's so many ways you can do it. Really can't do it wrong. However, there are
Well,
definite times that you're going to have more support
if you
than,
do it, if you set your intentions on a void moon, it doesn't happen. Void. You never want to do anything on a void moon. You never want to start anything new on a void. So these are my astrology teachers. They're always very, very, very clear about that.
well, I feel like, and I guess the question is differentiating between starting something and sitting within yourself and getting clear on what that is. And I feel like that's the whole point of a new moon.
Yes.
Is that inner reflection, that contemplation. One of my teachers said the 3 days, the day before, the day of, and the day after a full moon or a new moon, that's a time to be with yourself and to really tune into what it is that your
You
heart
are
and soul is
never going to
craving.
do wrong by tuning in and being with yourself. You will always find the right way doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Not everyone can take 3 days off to do that, but if you can, there's a
Take an hour.
recommendation for you.
Yeah, take a
Yeah,
couple of hours, at least an hour. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. It doesn't need to be a whole long process,
Yeah.
but thank you all for being with us today. This was one that we took some time on because it was so important. I feel like, and I'm sure
Yeah,
Madelaine,
we didn't hurry through for a change, which was nice.
yeah, yeah, just to be able to be with the energy that was there. And we wish you all a
Have a nice
magnificent 111 new moon in Capricorn, and we will be back here in a couple of weeks. We'll let you know when. I'm doing some traveling and Madelaine's traveling, so she and I are going to have to discuss and figure out when, but
That full
we'll be
moon is
back.
gonna be an Aquarian full moon.
Yeah, on the 25th.
Okay.
Good stuff. All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. We will see you soon.